Welcome. This is Pain to Power, and I am your host, Maria Cosme. And this show is brought to you in association with the iRant Network. On Pain to Power, we are always looking for ways to heal in community, to learn through storytelling, and to find our voices through different ways of expression as we are leading with love. And today, I'm super excited to introduce my guest to you in just a few moments. But before I do, I've been reflecting on this idea that comes up a lot in my shows, which is that art is a form of healing. And oftentimes it is the thing that goes the quickest when it comes to our school systems, our education, or even just our time we sacrifice as we become adults. The first thing to go is art. However, art is healing. And we have seen through so many different conversations and interviews how the expression of art allows us to create words in a language that we may otherwise not have through our voices and through our experiences. So as I am super excited to introduce my guest today, who is cultivating community spaces for art to heal and empower young artists. He is a filmmaker and the co-founder of Media Rhythm Institute and currently the director of community engagement and partnerships. Welcome, Jimmie Thomas.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm blessed.
That's wonderful. I love it. And I love that you're in the space of Media Rhythm Institute. We're going to talk about the space you're in just a few moments. But it's really great to have you here. We met just a few months ago at one of the events at your studios, and I started to learn a little bit about your story and all the things you're doing. And I'm really excited to have you on the show to share all of that with our audience. One of the things I always ask people who come on the show is because we talk about pain to power, I think everyone has a different way of identifying what that means for them. So for you and in your journey of life, what has turning pain into power meant?
Oh man, that's a very good question. So for me, turning pain to power is my upbringing. Like I'm from the South. I'm from Florida. Started off with my mom living in the projects. Early on, my father was on drugs until I was 21, and just growing up in that environment, I wanted more. I wanted to do more. I wanted to be more, and that pushed me to be great. You know, when you see what you don't want to be like, and you aspire to be something, then you just keep pushing towards it. So, you know, that's my pain of power. That got me to being motivated to go to college, go into journalism at Florida A&M, and be able to tell stories through film where I can impact millions of people. So that's my pain to power.
It's a beautiful thing, the push of pain into your power, right? Like that's a great thing. And it sounds like a lot of it was inspired maybe by art. Tell me a little bit about just you and your own passions in life and how you've come to where you are, like when you were a kid.
Yeah, so growing up, like I said, my dad was on drugs, but I wanted to be around my father. Of course, like any child, I wanted to be around my father. So he lived with my grandparents, his parents, and in that house, it was always about between 8 and 9 people. So my grandparents, my aunt, one of my aunts, one or two of my uncles, maybe two of my aunts. Several cousins. We all grew up in same house, living there, and just man, just being able to get out of that headspace. We lived in the country, so me and my cousin would go outside and we would train. We would train to be professional athletes, because coming from Florida, the only people to make it out was, drug dealers and athletes. And we knew what drugs did, so we wanted to be athletes. And I turned towards music as well. Music was also my outlet, because it get dark outside. You're in the country. You gotta look out for snakes and all the wild stuff.
Right,
So
right.
I turned to music, and I found my outlet through music and listened to the radio, the college radio station at the time, like someone like legendary now DJ Demp was DJing, and I would listen to music from all over, and that would take me to another place. But then also too, several of my aunts, four of my aunts, my brother's sisters, one of them lived in Fort Lauderdale, the other three lived in Newark, New Jersey. They would have us in one of those areas every summer. And just being able to see culture and art by living with them, and by being able to experience it sitting on the stoop in Newark, and looking at all of these different minorities, and then going to South Florida and seeing Haitians and Cubans and Jamaicans, and just a whole plethora of the melting pot, food and culture, music, and all of that. It really it gave me a different outlook on life. And I know that's the difference between me and my friends that I grew up with, being exposed to culture through music, food, and art. And food
That's
is
awesome.
art, by the way.
Food is absolutely art. I love that you elevated that. Yeah, I mean, so it sounds like obviously you've been surrounded by a lot of community, family community, but probably they extended that into community. What has and what I noticed just about going to MRI studios, right? It feels like it's so centered and grounded in community. How has having community impacted you in just your understanding of yourself?
Yeah, so you gotta think about it like this, right? I am from North Florida, and which is pretty much South Georgia, South Alabama, and a lot of people, like my I asked my grandmother um, how far back could she remember her family members, and she could just remember people picking cotton. Now, if that's how far back she can remember and not coming from anywhere else, then she always remember what she was taught in that too. So um, as you know, music was derived from Africa and African descendants, and how it's passed down. So for me and my family, it sort of morphed into the church. Like up here, it's hard to find a church that is similar to back home, where you get that spiritual feeling, them old Southern hymns, them old
Mhm.
country hymns, and you get that feeling and people shouting in the church. That's the spirit. That's the connected this to the earth as well. Like you get sick, then we have natural remedies for that. Up here, you just got to go to the doctor, or you got to find people who know about natural remedies. And then also too, I'm in downtown Baltimore, so I'm looking at the streets. It's hard to find like places where you could go and take your shoes off and get grounded back to the earth. Like I said, I grew up playing, in the country, so we racing on the dirt road with no shoes on. So always being grounded, within earth, within nature, is one of the things that I bring with me here, because that also correlates to being grounded in community, just being knowledgeable and respectful of where you are, and hoping to receive that in return. So therefore, I do certain things that my counterpart, like my business partner, really says elevates our business, which is hospitality. People forget about that. Like, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. Even someone who may be around the same age as you, it's just about respect. And I'm teaching these young kids that too, as I'm out and I'm speaking and I'm greeting people. That's how I was raised. But, sometimes people get away from that when they become adults. So my upbringing definitely shines through even to my business acumen now.
Well, I love that. And I mean, I think that your connection between this holistic idea of community, being nature, being people, being everything, it definitely shines through. Hospitality, welcoming. Like I came the first time with my daughter, who you met, right? And I mean, it just felt it felt like such a warm and connected space, right? Everything that you do to cultivate it, the people that you bring in, the artists, all of it is definitely a part of that, and that shows. But so, from that, right? You then went from music to film. What was that? What was that transition? I mean, what else did you do with music, and then how did you end up in film?
I didn't do anything with music besides listen to it. I don't rap. I don't write music. I don't dance. The way I got into film is I wanted to be an educator, and growing up where I'm from, once again, most people that well, I didn't want to be an educator at first. I just wanted to be successful, and I stopped training. Like I said, my cousin kept training, so he ended up going to college for football. He ended up coming to the Ravens, which is how I ended up here for football. And I stopped because I ended up moving with my mom, and then at that point, I just wanted to get some money. So that's what I was doing. I was getting money, and then um, you know we in downtown, so you hit the alarm. So I end up not alarm, but fire truck. So we end up figuring out life by doing what everybody else did. Started working for the Department of Education. I was working for the Commissioner of Education when I graduated high school, just as a school grad internship situation. And then that's when I learned how education worked, because Florida is most definitely a red of the red states. And I realized that the Commissioner of Education and everybody up under him, what their thought process is, how our bills for education, how things are getting moved. And it gave me a better outlook on, why education system is how it is. So I wanted to be a teacher, be able to reach back and educate young people that grew up in my communities. And at this time I was going to junior college. And while at junior college, I was making good grades because school always been easy to me, except for math. And while in junior college, I found I had a disability in math, so I could no longer be an educator because you have to have math. And I went to FAM after that, and they asked me why, and I told them why I wanted to be an educator, which is what I just told you. And my guidance counselor was like, maybe you should look into journalism. And I was like, all right. She was like, go to colloquium. So I went to colloquium for journalism, and Professor Ritchie was like, with one TV show, you could reach 1 million people. And I was like, man, if I was a teacher, I might be able to reach 200 some kids a year, and that's if I'm coaching basketball. I play basketball. That's if I'm coaching basketball. But with one TV show, I could reach 1 million people. I was sold from there because, my mission, my hopes is for young people to see themselves in different light. And that's matriculated into, funny enough, me not only being an educator, but me creating a company that has 5 different programs, media and entertainment programs in 9 different schools. And we have at one school, we got 3 different facilitators. So, think about me wanting to be a teacher on a micro level. But God said on the macro level, nah, let me show you a little bit more and how to reach even more people. So now we got about 12 facilitators, one here today with his kids teaching dance, after hours. And so we got dance, DJing, graphic design, channel media, which is everything with the cameras, similar to what we're doing now. I rhyme, where they learn how to produce beats and write music. So we're not only creating young people and a way for young people to have a voice, which giving them opportunities to earn money too, because they get booked for shows and stuff. So now they see that this is a valuable and viable career path that they can do. So, it's just a blessing, something I never thought that would happen. And then, then we move into this space where we are now, so 2021, from doing everything we was doing with MRI programs in 2017 to 2022, we're here in MRI studios, where we take the best of the best students, because we're reaching over probably about 2,500 students a year in all the schools we're in. But, the best of the best come here. The ones who take it real serious, the ones who really want to do this, they come here and they practice and they go hard. And then they get opportunities to get booked for shows, or their artwork is up in here and they get their artwork purchased by people. This is just, it's something I couldn't even fathom in the beginning of my journey.
Wow, but what a full
And
circle thing, right? Like, and with a wider reach, which is really powerful because you are doing some amazing things, and I think you needed to have that wider reach, like you said, right? The universe puts you where you're supposed to be through that path. And so, I mean, your passion is definitely this space. So, tell me a little bit about um, the creation of Media Rhythm Institute. Like, what was the beginning spark to this? You talk about it as this space for creative incubator, right? So, what was it that got you to start it?
yeah, so even before MRI Studios was MRI programs, the curriculum and the facilitation of education. But before that, um, I created with another business partner, Curators of Hip Hop, where we are filmmakers and we highlight elements of hip hop internationally. So the five main elements of hip hop. And we created a documentary where we followed two artists for 4.5 years to show the grind that it takes in order to make it in the industry. And when I say make it, I mean get signed. A lot of people think when you sign to a label, you made it, but you really just took a loan. And so we followed the artist named Pre, and then we from Hawaii, and I followed the artist here named Logic. And after those 4.5 years, Logic got signed earlier than 4.5, but we just followed him a little bit longer to show the grind that it take, for a kid that was in somebody's basement to have a big house in LA, to be Def Jam's
Mm-hmm.
highest artist for like 3 years, to take that dream and manifest it. And that was important because I don't know if you ever seen the documentary Hoop Dreams about those Chicago basketball players,
Mm-hmm.
but that's what this documentary is the Hoop Dreams of hip hop. So from that, we toured our film to over 30 colleges in 2.5 years, and we would do 4 activations. And one of those activations, we would have artists from DC, Baltimore, and Richmond, Virginia, go with us and perform because we wanted to expand positive hip hop. And then when we go to cities, we would have local positive artists come out and perform at these colleges. So, really giving them a lane to pursue their career and broaden their horizons. And one of those artists goes by the name of Dev Rock, who is from Baltimore City. He's a poet, he's an artist, and I took him to about 8 colleges within 7 months. And on our way back from Syracuse and Flint, he was like, "Hey, man, I know you say you're not a manager, but you teaching kids how to use the cameras over at this school. I'm teaching kids how to make music. Let's join our businesses." So we did that in 2017. Hence, fast forward to 2021, being in several schools, winning Downtown Partnerships Boost program, getting us in this space. And being able to get us in this space gave me the opportunity to do what I was doing with Curators of Hip Hop by curating events. Now I had a stabilized location to do it, right? And bring in artists that I've known from before, artists that I'm meeting now, people that I know in the industry, and they're connecting me with other people because, people move, somebody can be in this position this year and then a whole nother position the next year or transition into something else. So,
Right.
that's what we're bringing in this space, and giving artists in this city opportunity to trampoline and grow their network um, with other people outside of the city.
That's beautiful. And what a trajectory to get there, and to now be to have co-founded this with Dev Rock, to have this all come together is an amazing thing. So you're located on 20 North Howard Street in Baltimore, Maryland, right? But the location in and of itself, it feels like there's a lot of intentionality of where you brought this space. Tell me a little bit about like your thoughts on that and why that particular location for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I think it's Downtown Partnerships idea to revitalize Howard Street, which used to be a really booming location. They really want to revitalize downtown, but they are starting with Howard Street, and they showed us several vacant locations. So when we found this spot, it's in a great location. It's downtown. You can access it through public transportation. Right now, I'm watching Oriole fans, go by and go to the game. They're getting off the train because Oriole Stadium is right down the street. The other day, Friday, I'm talking about 20, 30 people hopping off the train at a time, running down to the game, right? We're a block up from CFG Bank Arena. We're right around the corner from Lexington Market. Our next door neighbor is Everyman Theater. Right around the corner is the Hippodrome, right? You have all of
Mhm.
this art stuff going on here, but not really black art going on, and that's what we bring to the table. Baltimore has a really eclectic art scene, all different forms of art. And we want to be downtown. We want to be right here on Howard Street, help revitalize it, help bring people to the space. People are already frequenting CFG Bank Arena, they're frequenting Oriole Stadium, they're frequenting, the famous, world famous Lexington Market, Everyman Theater. And we just want to be a part of that situation. For us, this location where we are, we're going to be the heartbeat of this particular block.
Yeah, you are the heartbeat, I think, right? And the beauty of it is that black owned business in the heart of Baltimore, in this area where, yeah, there's so much commuting, so many people. I remember I was there one night and I think someone had a concert and Stevie Nicks, and it was packed. It was hard to get a place to park even to get there, right? Um,
Yeah.
but but I think the additional pieces, but you're growing the innovation of the community too. So, like, through your space, you're building more Black owned businesses just by being who you are, by doing what you're doing. Which, like, when you think about the rapid gentrification of Baltimore, there's a lot of power in that. And that's important. And in addition, like, so one of the things I read about is that there's a real STEM focus. Can you talk a little bit about what STEM is and how STEM comes into the focus of your approach to creating the MRI studios?
Yeah, we like to use the term STEAM because we got the art within that. So when you have, science, technology, engineering, art, and for us, music, but also music is math, because it
Mhm.
goes hand in hand. You got to be able to count bars. It's really important for our young people to understand that what we do, it directly translates and correlates to your education, right? When you learn how to count bars, you're going to learn how to do your math a little bit better. Do you need 6 bars on this, 2 bars, 8, 16? What you want to do, and you want to get it quick. You want to count the music. You want to count when the beat come in. Also, when you DJing too, you got to know when to drop the beat. You got to know how to match the BPMs. Like, all of that goes into it. Dance steps, 1, 2, 3, go, 4, 5, 6, go. All of that goes into it. And then when you're talking about writing music, now you taking, just imagine at a school where we had people that, and this is at several schools. We're talking about Baltimore City Public Schools, right? And I love the city, but you got to think about how far that education has failed them and their families. So we've come across kids that can't even read. So they're not writing their rhymes, they're spitting their rhymes off their head. So we like, nah, do it like this. And then, as Murray or writing rhymes or whatever, we know they can't read. And then their reading level goes up because now we know this. Now we're going to pull you to the side. Look, this what this is. This what this is, and now they're more prone to try and read and try and get on the next level because music is what they love, but reading is a part of it. So it's just so much that goes into it, that people and teachers, and we have facilitators. We don't have teachers. Some teachers, they turn their nose to what we do because they don't understand it. But once they see these kids react, and once they see these kids get in line, and they don't have to worry about them messing up in their class, because who want to miss an end of the quarter showcase? Who want to
Mm.
have to school when everybody coming to the studio the day of the showcase, and there are people from not people, but there are families from 8 different schools in this building at the end of the quarter. You don't want to miss that. Why you want to go off on your teacher and miss coming to the showcase? You want to show out because Lakeland, they got the rappers, and then Vanguard got the dancers, and Mount Royal got the dancers. But we're going to see who did the best, who worked as hard. It's sort of like AAU basketball. That's what this is with the STEAM component.
I love that though. I mean, because you're getting so many layers of pieces in there, right? It's the solidarity across differences of schools, which we know can be like that could be rival, right? There could be a lot of things there, right? And but also like that connection to community and yeah, education. Like the heaviness of that is huge and the impact. And I think just of what I said at the start, right? This idea of art being healing, it's not, it's more than that, and you're creating so much more than that. So in this process, what are some things you've learned from the students that have been in this space? Well, actually, you know what? Before we talk about that, I want you to, I'd love for you to clarify, because you said they're not teachers, they're facilitators. And I want everybody to understand, like when you say that, what it makes a facilitator in that space different than a teacher.
Hey, a teacher goes to school for a certain amount of years to get certifications in order to teach a particular subject. Our facilitators are artists in the field, professional artists in the field of their what they're teaching. They are facilitating things that they learn. Today, Mr. Trent is here teaching, but tomorrow he's not going to be here because he's on a tour with DTLR and running up Jordan. But he'll be back on Monday because they come back from Charlotte. He's facilitating what he knows. So when he tells you this is what we're doing, go to his Instagram and see if he knows what he's talking about. When I had to miss going to Barclay because I was on tour showing my documentary, it was no problem. Why? Because I'm not a teacher. I didn't go to school just to learn how to do something, to teach somebody else how to do it. No knocks to teachers and whatever. Much respect. But I'm a facilitator because this is really what I do. I really go and tour my documentary and they paying me because I cold call 150 colleges and 30 something call me back with a check, with several checks. That's what I do because I'm a facilitator. So I'm gonna facilitate what I do to you, young person, and believe me, you can do it too, because this is what I'm actually doing to feed my family. This is what Mr. Trent's doing to feed his family. This is what Mr. Malcolm doing to feed his family. This is what we're doing to feed our families. We are facilitating an actual skill set that we do to feed our families.
And that's a huge way to show students and kids just how the opportunities are out there, right? And that they got to make them happen for themselves, but you're giving them so many tools to do that, which I love. Do you see like there's a difference in their receptiveness because of that, and like their openness to push themselves sometimes?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you know you like wearing nice stuff. Every time I see you, you fly, So I'm sure you can spot a fake bag. I'm sure you can spot a fake bag. When you see a real bag, you like, girl, that's nice. Where you got that? You know the store she went to and everything. When these kids, especially these kids in this city, when they see something real, they spot it automatically. They attract themselves to it automatically. And for the kids that are knuckleheads and don't understand and don't want to fall in line with what we're saying, their friends are gonna look at them crazy, like, yo, what you doing? You gotta go to the other class, yo. This ain't, automatically. We don't have to do that. That's not something most of us have to do. We don't have, this is what we do, especially when they see the other kids from these other schools, then the dynamic changes immediately.
That's huge. And I love that, because I think you're very right. And I would say probably that's one of the broken things of the education system, is because adults don't realize that kids spot it, right? They spot real and they spot folks who really aren't for them, right? And oftentimes, I'm sure a lot of your kids, they come in there and what they experience at school is nothing like what they're experiencing with the adults in your space.
Right, exactly. Like, we had summer camp here for the first time last year, and we didn't know how it was going to go. We put it together, and it worked out great, and it worked out great because we have a team of people who really love what they do. Our kids ended up, you've been in this space, our kids ended up doing a song with a rapper from Baltimore who's been signed to labels, who's a legend in the city when it comes to hip hop, by the name of Boss Man. And they remixed his song, which got him on, called Land of the O's. they didn't only remix his song, which he sent. He was like, and I'm sure he didn't know they was gonna do what they did when he got it back, when he got the track back. But when they remixed the song, it went from that to him throwing out the first pitch at Orioles Park, right? And not only that, our kids remixed the song. Our Channel Me Media kids wrote the treatment for the music video because then he wanted to do a music video. Dance kids end up doing the choreography for the music video,
Cool.
and then we went to a local film studio that's owned by someone from here from Baltimore. We
Right,
went to his
right.
and we shot it at the studio. Now think about this for some kids that didn't know each other. They homeschool, private school from the city, from the county. 3 weeks ago they just met. At the end of that 3 weeks, they made a music video, shot it at a studio, and the next weekend we all went to Oriole Stadium, saw the person that they did the song with throw out the first pitch, get their video on YouTube, get a whole bunch of views, and this is something that they created out of their mind. So when you tell a child, not, hey, stop doing that, you too loud, sit down. When you stop saying that and you say, hey, look, no, there's no silly ideas, throw it out there, let's do it, and then they understand, like, oh no, they really mean that, and no, go harder. I was just listening to the instructor, and he was telling the girls, he was like, hey, this Baltimore, you need to go harder, you need to show attitude, you need to show grit in that dance. I get that. I love that, really,
And
because
kids love that, but kids love push. They need push and care at the same time.
yes, yes.
It's
Everybody
not
can't
about
get a trophy.
pity.
No, everybody cannot get a trophy. We are not doing that over here.
No, no. And it makes them work harder, I imagine. So there's a lot of things y'all are teaching them through this experience. And it's been amazing, it sounds like, with so many opportunities. But what have the kids taught you?
Yo, listen, when you think you're creative and you want to be more creative, work with some kids. Work with some kids, because their imagination. See, I saw this somewhere online the other day. When you lose your imaginary friend, then your imagination leaves. That is so true. These kids are so creative. They push the boundaries so much. I always tell them, like, when I need inspiration, I don't really facilitate anymore. But when I need inspiration, I'll, go into class, facilitate, or I'll listen to them, especially when they like doing pre-production. I can't wait to see what they think of. I'll be like, ooh, I ain't never seen that before, and I watch all types of documentaries. I love documentaries, but man, they taught me a lot. They taught me patience. I would say that, I have kids on my own, but it's different when you have kids that, real talk, you can't put your hands on, and they showing out. You really got to show patience, and that patience come with love, because they see that they wasn't having a good day, and tomorrow when they come in, yesterday was their bad day, today is not their bad day, and Mr. Thomas is not, treating it like it was yesterday. It's a whole new day, fresh, and then at the end of that day they apologize, and that's something that I learned, as well, working with these kids. They are creative, they are forgiving, they are humans just like us. You were once a kid. Don't forget you were once a kid, and the mistakes that you made.
Yeah, no. And
Yeah.
that's, I mean, a lot of adults in their lives have, right? A lot of the adults don't
Yeah.
recognize that. And when adults lose all those things, we then impose that on kids sometimes, right? So yeah, like like I was saying at the beginning, I think honestly, like even as adults, we got to stay creative. We got to stay in that art space, because we give that up so quickly. So as all this has been happening, you have been working with schools also. You said 8 different schools in Baltimore County and City?
No, we in 9 schools in Baltimore City.
9 schools in Baltimore City.
Schools.
And you specifically are actually director of community engagement and partnership. So you have a lot of relationships with them. Have you seen an impact in the schools shifting or changing anything, seeing the success of your program, seeing how kids are impacted? Like, is there any like overflow into school?
For sure, yeah, because we facilitate in the schools. We're like a resource class. So like I said, you don't want to be in one of our programs, and then your teacher having to come and tell like a Miss K, hey, such and such is cutting up, I don't think they should perform. Now we got to have a real conversation. It's like your parent at school. We're also your coach and stuff, but it's different with us because we do dope stuff. Like we really do.
Right.
We're year round. Basketball is seasonal. Football is seasonal. We're year round, so you don't want to disappoint, your particular coach or whatever field that you're in with us. It definitely correlates to where one of the schools that we in South Baltimore, doing really well. Love got a big love for them. We're actually doing a men's event just to get more dads to come out this weekend. So we're doing like a men's workout this weekend, and we're gonna figure some other things out to get more men involved in the schools. But their principal was in charge of turn around that whole another school. So then that got us in another school, which is right around the corner from there, and we're building community there as well. We just got a mural done. So when you were here, Pablo did the painting on the stage. He went over there, and we had him to go over there. That's the way we got our artists into the schools. Go over there, and he did a whole mural in the gym, talked to the kids, got their ideas, and man, it is just amazing. But not only that, we got 3 facilitators. The one that's in here right now, he facilitates dance. Then we got Channel Media over there, and then we got our rhyme over there, because what we really do, to be honest with you, is we give kids a voice. That's what we really do. And you never know how kids, want to express themselves. So at that particular school, right, we didn't have dance our first year there. And it was one kid that really didn't like our DJing program or our Channel Media program. And he's in high school, and now he works for us. He was like, he was respectful, but he was a product of his environment at the school. So now he works for us, and it's funny when I'm in here, he'll hit us up on Instagram and be like, hey, I'm coming down to practice today. Like last week, I'm hitting you up because I want to come down to practice because we got a gig on Tuesday. So now he's going out gigging. He got a birthday party to dance at with his dance crew that are made up by, once again, Mr. Trent, who's teaching at these schools, facilitating at these schools dance. And this kid, when he was in middle school, was sort of a knucklehead, but he was respectful and proud of his environment. And now this will be the second year that he works for us here. And I think he's in 10th grade.
Wow.
So,
but he's gigging. He's doing this stuff, right? Like it's more than a voice. It's the empowerment, right? It's the voice and the tools to be empowered to just create their own stuff, to do their own things, to take that ownership. And obviously, right, it's community, and you talk about community so much. And I think one of the things schools often struggle with in the education system is engaging parents and things. I mean, it sounds like that's not an issue for you, but tell me, like, what is that layer of, like, now you're not just the students and the facilitators, but you got their families too, right? What's that been like, having this whole full circle?
I'm gonna tell a secret. I think everybody should understand this. If you can get the parents on your side, everything is going to be so much easier. Don't let your first phone, this is what I tell all my facilitators, don't let your first phone call home be, hey, Billy was cussing me out today doing this and that. Can you, no, who are you? You got to understand, these parents got jobs, they got other kids, they had their kids all summer. It's your turn now. They know their kid, but why are you calling them saying that Billy is cussing him out? No, this is what I implore every facilitator, every educator to do. Get the parents on your side early. Call as soon as you get your kids, who in your class, call, let them know, hey, look, I'm Mr. Thomas. I teach Channel Media here at Westport. And what Channel Media is, we teaching your son, Billy, how to use the camera, podcasting, videos, whatever his skill set is. Do you know how to use the camera? Have you ever used the camera before? Mm-hmm. Now you building a relationship. Now you opening it up. Now you, Mr. Thomas, with the cameras. Not the teacher calling talking about Billy cuss you out in week one. You should have called him already. So for me personally, and this is something that I tell my facilitators, not everybody does this, but I implore them to do it because it's just going to make life easier for you. But that goes back to the hospitality, and that goes back to my upbringing, and that goes back to the roots. So once you are ingrained in who you are and know what you're doing, you're going to call with that. You're going to lead with sugar, because if you lead with salt, then it's not going to be good for you. You're going to have to work your way around that.
Well, that's true. And I think, like you said, right, parents want to be heard just like students want to be heard, right? Like they want to be treated like people. And
Yeah.
right. And there's so much there in relationship building, which it's clear you center a lot, in your space. So tell us now about some of the things coming up. I got to experience For the Love of Vinyl with Jay Stewart, who was also on the show, and met Brother Nance, who was also on the show while we were there as well. But you've had a lot of different events, and is that some Sterling Hopkins work that I see behind you, or is that?
Yeah, you got Sterling work behind me right now. So
Okay.
currently we have up the Hip Hop 50 exhibition, which is open until the 26th of this month. April 26th is the closing. So you got a few days left to come out. You can go to our Instagram. You could go to Eventbrite for the closing ceremony. And the artwork is for sale. So you got Sterling work up right here, his Hip Hop 50, and the exhibition is Hip Hop 50 and beyond. We also have Akio Evans, who made some shoes for HBO's We Own the City, which was in the show, but they cut out the particular scene because I guess the powers that be didn't want the scene of the people stumping on the police car, which really happened in the show. But we have the shoes from that scene. Then we have what else we got? We got my man Sonny Original. He is the Beyond. He's an illustrator. Once again, this is his first exhibition. He is a recent graduate of Maryland Eastern Shore. He's a Baltimore public school educated kid, and he just graduated. He just got back home. And when I saw his work, and matter of fact, I saw his work because I was at one of our schools, and his sister is a PE coach there, and she was like, "Hey, my brother is an illustrator. He just graduated. He need to meet y'all. I don't know if he need to work with y'all, but he need to meet y'all." So I called him. He came down that day, and now he has his first exhibition up in here. And he also designed Curators of Hip Hop 2024 collection as well. He's just that dope. So you get to see work from artists that you may not normally see, but you'll be able to come in this space, enjoy the art. If you want some of the art, buy the art, purchase the art, support the artists, because it's very affordable right now. 2, 3, 4 years from now is the value is going up on this particular artwork and their artwork that they'll be creating. Then we have Polish Your Piece on the 25th. It's a writing workshop, and Polish Your Piece is done by my business partner. This one will be hosted by Truth the Poet, and she's a local Baltimore legend doing events, poet, but she's interviewing a writer who's coming up from, I forgot what state they're coming up from, but it's a writing workshop. So if you're a writer, come out on the 25th, and that's also on Media Rhythm Institute's Eventbrite. Come out on the 25th. It's a writing workshop. You have a good time. You'll be given prompts. It's almost like class, but you're going to be given prompts. You're going to write something that day, and it's like a family affair. What else? We got so much stuff coming up. Just follow us on MRI Programs. MRI.studios is where we are. MRI.programs is the Instagram. MRI for our Instagram for our youth component. MRI.studios is where we are right now. We got Black Brew Movement coming on the 27th. So the 25th, 26th, and 27th of this month is packed. On the 27th of this month, we have the Black Brew Movement. So it is accumulation of Black brewers. So if you like beer, you want to try beer, come on out. And the 27th is the new exhibition that's going up. So you come out, meet some Black brewers, get some Black beer, and enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself.
I
That's where
love
we
it.
got.
There's so much going on. And all the links to MRI and all of the things that are happening there are in the right below. So make sure you hit that and you look at all the links and you check out all of the events that are coming up. Do not miss them. I'm telling you, it's a vibe, it's a space, everything about it. It really is welcoming, and everything that Jimmie's saying is the truth for certain. And please make sure, if you haven't done it yet, you like and you subscribe to the channel. You go follow Jimmie for everything. Jimmie, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for all you're doing, and for all of the different programs and the opportunity. It sounds like some of those programs are for adults. So you've got your facilitation and things for students and youth, but those things like the Polish Your Piece, those are for adults to come and experience the space too.
So Polish Your Piece, kids come out to that as well. And that's a great thing. Imagine you coming, you bringing your daughter out to Polish Your Piece. And have you ever seen your daughter write anything?
Yeah, she loves to write.
I can tell, because I know she's observant. So I know
She
she's some type of artist. She's very observant. She was in here watching everything that was going on. But people find out that their kids are more creative than they thought they were when they come to something like that. And then when you're given the prompts, you're writing your own, they're writing their own, and then they get on the stage, So yeah,
I
so
love
that's
that. What
Polish
a great
Piece.
way to connect with your kid too, right? To have
Sure.
that kind of experience. That's amazing. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I will have to check it out. And anybody else, if you're in Baltimore or just come out to Baltimore, and experience it for certain, you have to go and see it all. Thank you so much, Jimmie, for your time today. This has been amazing. We've learned so much. Thank you to the iRant Network and to Geologic, Mr. M. Thanks to all our supporters who are watching our broadcast today. Again, please make sure you like, share a comment. If something resonated with you, you got a thought for Jimmie, share it in the comments. Please make sure and subscribe to this channel by hitting the bell so that you get all of the notifications for the show. We are Pain to Power, featured every Sunday at 9 p.m. with new dynamic guests sharing their stories of how they are healing community and learning tools to be able to grow and continue to find our voices and come back to ourselves. So art is healing, and Jimmie and MRI Studios has created a space for healing and empowerment for our youth through all of the different ways of STEAM. So thank you so much again, Jimmie. And if you haven't done it yet, please make sure, I don't know, Jimmie, do you have a Roku TV?
No, we don't have a Roku TV, not yet.
All right, well, make sure you get one, because when you do, you got to download the channel for the iRant Network. We have a channel on there, and there is a station called BGI TV, so you can see all of episodes of Pain to Power featured, as well as lots of other hosts of shows on the network that are doing transformational things. So thank you so much. It's been an amazing conversation, and I'll see you again next week on Sunday at 9 p.m. on Brown Girl Interrupting on YouTube. And please make sure you also go check out my website for writing, because I am a writer and an artist in a different venue. So thank you so much.
Thank
Peace.
you for having me.
Love and light. Thanks, Jimmie.
Peace.